Welcome to the Productivity Podcast. So fresh from the Rethink Forum, Diane returns to join us to talk about July and August shopping trends and habits. Hi, Di.
Hi, Simon.
Thanks for the forum. A great presentation again. Really great feedback from those that came in terms of your insights and predictions that we won't hold you to.
Please don't. But I did get August's right, so it's a good start. But I may be making a rod for my own back.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. So we're picking up July to August. I think June to July wasn't brilliant, was it? I mean, the weather was pretty horrific as well, and all the other things that were happening. So how are we looking across July to August?
Yeah, so in August it's been much more positive in both terms of footfall and sales, and also consumer confidence, actually, although it hasn't changed, but there has been some sort of subtle shifts that are good. So let's talk footfall first, and this is footfall into stores from Sensormatic. And in August, footfall is just 0.4% down on August last year. And actually, that's the best result that we've seen since I've had data from January 2023, and much better than July when it was 3.3% down. So that is really encouraging. Retail parks had a really fabulous time. Footfall was actually up 2.6% year on year. High streets and shopping centres footfall down, particularly shopping centres. And that's probably because we have better weather in August, and who wants to go inside a shopping centre when it's lovely weather? And they were 1.8% down on last year, and high streets 0.3%. So, and high streets always do better in the summer. So that's footfall, so that was a good start. And then sales, as measured by Beauclair, and this is sales in towns and cities across the UK, a much better picture from July. July sales were down 9.3%, which was pretty atrocious. And, you know, as you said, Simon, the weather was horrible, cool and rainy, not a good July at all. August, better, still down, but 3.1% down. So it's improved by 2/3. Transactions and customers were down about 3%. So there's still fewer people buying, but the average transaction value was only down by 0.5%. So those who are buying are spending more, but we're still seeing fewer customers buying products. So that's still challenging for all retail across the board.
And then that's something we talked about last week, wasn't it? The forum, in terms of one of your priorities in terms of any business at the moment probably needs to be maximising and driving ATV rather than thinking about how you win new customers. Clearly, they're both important, but this conversation we've been having throughout the last 12, 18 months has always been around maximising those people that are coming in, because footfall has been down, hasn't it, in most of the sectors we talk about and look at. So it really plays into that. If you can sell more to the same people, that's got to be where your growth is.
Absolutely. And of course, it's the easiest way to get growth. Footfall is on a long-term decline anyway. It has been for a decade or more, because we don't need to go to as many stores to shop as we did. And, it's a message that people have listened to me time and time again have heard. But, we do a lot of our browsing online. And I talked about that at the forum, how, that split. But I also talked about the fact that if you can get them into store, the majority of those who do come in store will buy in store rather than going home to buy online. And as you say, getting your existing customers to spend more or buy more when they're there has got to be the easiest way. So that's showing through in the data. Those who are buying are spending more money, and it's that pocket of consumers who have more disposable income are spending their money. There are a lot of people out there benefiting from higher interest rates through savings. And actually the savings ratio at the moment is about 11%. So, we are squirreling our money away, trying to replenish those savings that we spent when inflation was at 11%. So, there are people with some cash out there who are benefiting from higher interest rates. And so it's trying to appeal to those guys, really. And then consumer confidence actually is unchanged from July. It's still negative, -13, but people are a bit more optimistic about how they see their own personal finances over the next year. And that's the confidence there has doubled, which is good. But
that's good.
Yeah, that is good, although they're not quite as optimistic about the general economic situation in the UK. That's dropped. So people are feeling less confident about what's going to happen over the next year generally. And inflation has not gone down. It still sits at 2.2, slightly above the government's target of 2%, and consequently interest rates won't come down in the short term. And we've got a lot of people on fixed interest mortgages who are likely to expire and need to renegotiate. So that's going to be a bit painful for quite a number of households.
And that's quite a big number of people, isn't it? Is there a spike towards the end of this year and then a spike early 2025?
Yes, it tends to hit, at certain times of the year. So they're saying that there are 1.6 million households this year and another 1.6 to 2 million households next year that are going to, undergo this process. And that could be, an additional £300 or £400 a month in mortgage payments for households, which, is a holiday. It's their disposable income. So that could be a massive hit.
Not particularly Merry Christmas then for some people, or a post Christmas challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with Christmas, isn't it? Because we had such a torrid Christmas last year when interest rates had gone up and inflation was high and people were really feeling the pinch. I'm forecasting actually that Christmas will be better this year, purely because we're coming from a negative position on sales last year. So we're going to have a little bit of a bounce back. It's not going to be enormous, but it will be better. People are saving. They have had wage rises that are in excess of inflation. So people feel a bit more affluent. House prices are going up by about 4%. So people always feel better when their houses are worth more money. So that is encouraging people to spend. And there's a bit more stability, I think people feel that there is around in the economy. Although the news today about GDP being at 100% of our debt being 100% of our GDP isn't great news, because it means that it takes the meaning of highly geared into a whole new level. So that's not going to be fantastic for the economy. But at a personal level, I think people are feeling a little bit more stable than they were.
And in terms of those categories which win and lose, I know we've talked historically about fashion being really, really tough and trading down and really showing no signs of particular growth. Health and beauty was tracking really well, and even that started to kind of plateau now, hasn't it?
Yes, I mean, fashion's had a pretty torrid time over the last year. And interestingly, in July, how fashion sales were 12% below July's 2023. But the weather in July this year was horrible. I mean, I certainly didn't buy any fashion for summer. And I'm sure a lot of people felt the same. There just really wasn't an opportunity to wear it. But interestingly, in August, when we had some better weather, fashion sales are only 1.4% below August last year. So it's really, you can see how responsive it is. And it won't be the only reason, of course, but going from -12 to -1.4 is a big leap upwards. On the converse side of that, health and beauty was, it hasn't improved. It was 4.8% down in July, better than fashion, but this time it's worse than fashion because it's still 4% down. But the ATV, the average transaction value in health and beauty, is increasing. People are those who are buying health and beauty, again, spending more money. So, health and beauty is a bit of a stalwart. And largely, there's a greater proportion of those people who buy health and beauty buy in store rather than online. So that's a bit of a stronger sector for stores as well.
Yeah, and it's that type of kind of considered assisted purchase, isn't it? That you want to chat to somebody, potentially a luxurious item for what people are spending. And my assumption, again, back to my boots days, is that will pick up as we enter Black Friday week, Cyber Monday week, clearly Christmas, that whole fragrance category and all the surrounding gift sets around it will give that a big push.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been doing some analysis of the transition from online to offline over that Christmas period, and there is a massive shift to offline, to stores in December. And that, it's not necessarily because they don't trust the post, but that's the whole of December. And you can certainly order the beginning of December and be guaranteed to get it in time for Christmas. But I think people like to shop in a store pre-Christmas because you get some of that flavour of Christmas and the essence of Christmas, which you just don't get offline. It's all a bit soulless, really.
Yeah, and we're kind of coming into this, the golden quarter for lots of organisations, probably everybody, hospitality, certainly the high street, everybody outside of maybe DIY and kind of home improvement. It's their peak period, and it gets more and more blurred every year, doesn't it? With this Black Friday, well, almost month now of offers, and what was Cyber Monday again. There seems to be a blur between the physical and the online channels, and that then really bleeds into Christmas. And I think certainly last year, the year before, sales were starting early December, where people had seen that they probably weren't going to hit the target. Stock holding was high. They needed to actually just get some money through to just generate some throughput. So similar themes this year, do you think?
I do. Black Friday, people say, "Oh, will it continue?" I mean, we've had it for over 10 years now as a full-blown event, so it's not going anywhere. So I think we need to get beyond that. Is it a thing still? Because it's a thing.
Yeah, agreed.
And it certainly marks the start of the Christmas trading period, and shoppers see it as such. It's the first time they'll have probably made a reason to go out shopping. They have justification for going. All the Christmas decorations are up in high streets and shopping centres. And it's a bit of a day, and it's close enough to December to feel Christmassy. So it really does mark the beginning of the Christmas trading season, and spend and sales demonstrate that. There's a big uplift in spend on that Black Friday week, of course, and then it dips a little after and then starts to rise in December. But you don't get much before Black Friday at all. The only possible increase we get really is around the October bank holiday, when kids are off and parents want to entertain children. But then it dips away again straight after that until Black Friday.
Yeah, there's a bit of Halloween in the shops as we speak, but not anywhere near as much as the last couple of years when it's been people have gone in. We've taken that kind of American approach, and it's become a big event. I think this year I've seen lot less. Still early, still time to go, but it's filling that gap between summer and Christmas. But as I say that, there's mince pies out, there's Christmas puddings out. Yeah, so I wouldn't say they've gone early, but apparently there's good sales on them. So there you go.
Oh no, I'm not starting yet. Otherwise, no, it's not good to start on the mince pies too early. Be bored for Christmas.
Agreed. Brilliant. So we'll pause there. We'll be back next month with August to September, and then we'll roll into the kind of interesting periods of the year where we start to see that influence on seasonality, Christmas, and all the things we've talked about. So thanks again, Di. Always great to catch up, and
Lovely.
Thanks for your brilliant session last week at the forum.
No, my pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Good. We'll catch you soon.
Thanks, Simon.
Bye.